Welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willies. Today I'm honored again once to have Byron Belitsos of the Earth Constitution Institute. Welcome to Politics Done Right.
Good to meet you, Egberto.
Please tell me, what is the Earth Constitution Institute?
We are in the business of radical reform of the UN.
Right.
And the UN obviously needs change.
Definitely.
They know it, and everybody knows it.
Right.
So they're doing reform, but we want radical reform.
Right.
So the Security Council we were talking about,
Yes.
that needs to be reformed in a big way. They're going to do a minor reform. We want it to be transformed.
Right.
We have an actual new charter.
Okay.
It's called the Earth Constitution.
Okay.
So the Earth Constitution could replace the UN Charter, and we've been working on it since 1958.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That long. I mean,
Our team,
that hasn't been so far removed from when the actual UN was formed.
Yeah, after it was reformed, there was a big minority that opposed it because it really wasn't going to work.
Right.
And the lead-off guy was Albert Einstein.
Oh, really?
The atomic scientists.
Wow.
Because they were feeling the after effects of Hiroshima, Nagasaki. And they thought about this, and they knew that the UN would not prevent an arms race. Mm-hmm. So Einstein became an advocate for a world federation, which they called it back then.
Okay.
This is Democratic World Federation, where it's like the United States, but the whole world's the United States.
Right.
But not U.S. imperialism. I mean, it's just
I
a
understand
constitutional...
that is a democracy within a democracy among countries.
Among the whole world.
Right.
World democracy.
Right.
Like in Star Trek, another country, other worlds are democratic.
Right.
So in the future in Star Trek, it's a world democratic federation, the Federation. So we envision that for the next generation. So we have a long way to go. But the Constitution was written in the 70s and 80s, finished in 1992.
And that is the UN new Constitution.
It's bigger than that. The UN could adopt it, which would transform the General Assembly, because you'd still have the General Assembly, then you would add two more, it would be tricameral.
2 more bodies, tricameral.
You'd have a People's Assembly.
Right.
And then you'd have an Elders Assembly, or a Counselors, as we call it.
Okay.
So the wisest people on the planet have their own...
and that is independent of country. The Elders Assembly is independent of country, meaning it's the people deemed to be the wisest in the world.
Deemed to be the wisest in the world. They're nominated from the universities of the world.
Okay.
That's how we want.
So that's the elders. So so we have the elders that's comprised of independents around the world that were nominated by university. What's the second body?
Second body is the existing General Assembly, which is the states. They represent the states.
Got it.
We would reform that. So that's one person per state.
Right.
We'd expand that so that larger states get more delegates.
Right.
So if you're China, you should get more delegates.
Absolutely.
So we'd expand that. So that'd be pretty big.
Right.
And then there's the People's House.
And how is that deemed?
So that's elected from the world's districts, as we call them. They're global electoral districts.
Right.
So the electoral districts would, so you got...
It could be multi-country.
So within the districts we have now for election here in the United States, right? So we've drawn our own districts, took a long time, to make 8 million per district. So it's got 8 billion on the planet, so it's 1,000 districts.
Got it.
So there would be 1,000-person People's Assembly at the UN.
Now, my question again is that it crosses boundaries.
Crosses boundaries.
That's okay, great.
Yeah.
So in other words, your loyalty may be towards, let's say, Norway and Sweden, because you may have a cross boundary there.
Your loyalties to the world.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is the people that you're representing could be a cross between 2 different countries or 3 different countries.
It could be.
Yeah, got it.
So if you have an urban area that's in 2 different... So then that would cross to, but your loyalty would be to the district.
Right.
So if you're representing a district, you're representing the people of the district.
In that district, right.
So we founded the main district of the North America, and myself and 2 others.
Right.
It's Washington, D.C. and Baltimore.
Right, I got you.
So we just got that started.
Right.
And so I'm like an organizer for the district.
Right.
So the district will elect a delegate to the Provisional World Parliament.
Right.
So it's not the real world parliament, it's provisional.
Right.
So this group has been electing people to world parliaments
Right.
15 times we've done it.
Right.
It's not in the press,
Of course not.
but it's from all over the world. Africa, Asia, Latin America.
Right.
And these are provincial world parliaments that pass provisional legislation for the world.
And this is again that 1,000 people that are elected in these different districts.
Right now, it's just a few because we're just getting started
Right.
with the organizing. On
Sure,
the ground.
sure.
Yeah. So they're like provisional delegates to a provisional. But the next one coming up is we've got some funding to do this big, and it's in Pondicherry, India.
Right. Now, interestingly, I mean, I love these ideas, right? I love this. However, the powers that be, the billionaires and the corporatocracy around the entire Western world, it's likely to do their utter best to make sure something like this doesn't happen. Because in as much as we preach democracy, America nor none of these countries believe in real democracy. How do you supersede that?
The fact is, and we have a hard time proving it, but we've been infiltrated over the years, all
Right.
these groups. There's about 5 main groups.
Right.
We're one of those.
Right.
And one in particular, I worked for them, and there was truly suppression.
Right.
Same with us. We've had these big international meetings,
Right.
and last minute, the visas are withdrawn.
Right.
And people can't get there.
here. Right.
It was bizarre. And that's happened 4 times.
Right. It's understandable.
And they're trying to suppress it. But we're a minor movement right now. But when this thing gets big, it's going to be a threat.
How do you make it big?
It's what we're doing here in this conference is organizing on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So district by district, that's what we're doing.
Now, so were you able to meet people from all over, let's say, for the districts that will occur in the United States? Were you able to meet a lot of folks that showed some interest in this pretty much?
I'm only working in the DC area.
Right.
And we have a lot of interest in DC.
Right.
But I mean, it's, not.
Well, I mean, you're going to have interest in Detroit. You're going to have interest in
you
Minneapolis.
have to fan out everywhere.
Right.
So we're kind of the organizing district for North America.
Yeah.
There's an organizing district in Venezuela
Okay.
for Latin America.
Right.
There's one in India for all of India.
Right.
And we're not in China. We're not in Japan yet. Europe is just starting. So
Right.
this is just starting on the ground. But on the big superstructure of this, look at the Constitution is widely respected and widely known. It's in 30 languages. It's known all over the world. So we got that instrument, but we don't have the ground organizing.
When you get a chance, after we have this interview, I'd love for you, you have my card. I'd love for you to send me the Constitution. I'd love for you to send me the Constitution.
I sure will.
Because I want to see that and make sure that that I also do some promotion to make sure that that this stuff is actually looked at.
We'll get it to you, and I think you'll find it amazing.
How long is the Constitution anyway?
It's like 30, 40 pages.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not bad. That's not bad. So give me a closer. What are your expectations? Give me some durations. How long do you think this may take, etc.?
A generation.
About 30 years.
Yeah, something of that sort, unless there's an acceleration, because what happened in the 40s, there was a huge upsurge and there was
Right.
a lot of organizing until the Cold War dampened it down.
Got you.
There was a big move in the United States, believe it or not, in the
Right.
late 40s.
No, I got you. Yeah.
They were called the One Worlders back then.
Yeah. Well, it's something that many on the right have spoken about. That they're supporting the One World movement, which I really don't see a problem with a One World movement. But hey,
Well, the right has got a point, which is now the One Worlders are the billionaires.
right.
They're the ones doing globalism.
You know something? I think that is a hell of an insight.
Oh yeah.
That is a hell of an insight. They go cross border. They have no limits, and they create a one world economy.
They filled in the space.
Exactly.
So the People's World Federation
Yes.
have withdrawn,
Yes.
and they filled the vacuum. And that's the scandal of this.
It is so important. I forgot your name.
Byron, sorry.
Byron.
Yeah.
Byron. That's why these types of conferences and conventions are so important. Because there are a lot of things that a lot of us know individually. But collectively, it's so much easier to then put it all together. And I think you nailed it with the one world. You know, yes, they feared the one world because that's the one world is what they, the billionaire class, the corporatist class, want to actually.
Yeah, I mean, so the right's not always wrong about everything.
Right.
Yeah, so everybody knows that there is this globalist agenda.
Right.
So we would be opposing that, and this is the biggest battle of all time.
Right.
It's the people of the world versus the globalists.
Byron, look in that camera and give me a closer. This camera right there. Give me a closer.
So what we're trying to do is to organize the people of the world to express their sovereignty, which is intrinsic to humanity. So humanity should be in charge of the planet. We should have a governed world governed by a democratic world federation of the world's people. That's the idea.
Mr. Byron
Belitsos. Thank you, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly for having been on Politics Done Right.
Yeah.
And I think you've enlightened all of us.
All right. Thank you for having me very much.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.